Alrighty, folks, it is battle royale time. We've got a 10-year Wall Street veteran representing stocks, and you have a 20-year real estate guy who's built his portfolio one unit at a time,
In
i.e.,
the
one
red
rental at a time.
corner.
Yeah, we are going to talk about what is better, stocks, which, oh, by the way, I made a bunch of money, lost a bunch of money, or real estate. I'm now financially free. I'm just muddying the waters because of real estate, but Taylor's the guest, so we're going to talk stocks first. All right, Taylor, what do you got, man? Where do you want to start?
Yep. So I just did a video on this on Instagram as well. So you can go check it out over there. It's 30 seconds or whatever. It's 60 seconds.
What did you
And
say? Real estate's better than stocks? Just move on. Is
I
that
said, oh
easy?
yeah, torch it. Real estate. Let's go, baby. No, no. And the reality of this is full disclosure on the onset. I own real estate. So I not only do I own my house, that doesn't count. I have real estate investments. Now it's commercial, it's not residential, but nonetheless, I own both. But what the thing that frustrates me about social media and people with real estate on social media
Yep.
is they talk passive
Yep.
investments, and the fact that it's easy, go out and buy it, it takes care of itself. You can go to work and do your 9 to 5 and not worry about it, throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And so I look at that and say, one, the real estate I own, that's not the case at
Me
all.
neither.
I don't have a management company. And so I don't give away 8 to 12% or whatever it is. I think the people that are successful in real estate are you. And what I mean by that are this is your profession. You have perfected the art of buying real estate. You have perfected the partnerships that you generate that go in and service your real estate or whatever it is. You've perfected the lead source where you can get things that probably are off market. You've perfected the relationship with the banks to know where you can go and get money and access to that money at the cheapest rate. All of those things you've done really, really, really well. One person that's a onesie, twosie investor like me, it's not as easy as of a game. And I can't create returns that you can create. And so at the end of the day, like that is my full disclosure take on the front end. And then in the video, I talk more about the numbers. So the numbers are like, if you look back at residential real estate, so the median home price over the last 50 years, back to 1973, you have an increase of 5.2% per annum. So that's the increase of home prices per
Yeah.
year. The
Nominal.
increase of,
Nominal.
yep. And I know you're going to poke some holes through this, and I know, so I'm going to let you do so. On the other side, when you look at stocks over that same time frame, they are up 10.54% per year. And so let me leave you with those numbers and have you start to cut up what I just said, because I know you're going to do it and you're going to do it well.
You know, I certainly could, but I really want to service the audience. And what I've come to tell people is you can get wealthy. There's only 3 steps, right? Step 1 is create discretionary income. Step 2, become an elite investor in something.
Yep.
And I honestly sit here today, and I don't care if it's stocks, art, wine, classic cars, real estate, commercial, I don't care.
Yep.
What I want to tell people is you can become a great or elite investor in whatever you choose. What I hate, and it's kind of to your earlier point, is the dabbler, the gambler,
Yep.
the get rich quick.
Yep.
Because trust me, you can make a lot of money in real estate if you do the work. You can make a lot of money in stocks if you do the work.
Yep.
But the problem with doing the work is it never stops. I successfully turned 7 grand into 200 grand doing the work in stocks over about 3 years. That's hard to do. But you know what? I got cocky. I got lazy. I stopped being disciplined, and 80% of it went away in 3 weeks or whatever the hell it was.
Yep.
It can go away fast.
Yep.
Real estate, do the work. I bought 8 houses before the crash. I kept doing the work this time. I saw that they were unaffordable and a crash was likely. I sold them all. I didn't cash out. I used the tax code to move my equity into bigger assets called multifamily. Can't
1031.
really do that with stocks. You can with
Yep.
real estate. I
Yep.
rode the wave. Then when prices go low, you can borrow, you can get leverage. Here's the deal. I have a 8-figure portfolio with none of my money in the deal. How's that for a return? Right?
Yep.
So you can borrow against your assets.
Yeah,
It's
and
not taxed.
I'm fine with that, but that's also leverage. When you're
Oh,
doing
sure.
the work, leverage is fine.
Mhm.
People can get their hand burnt very, very
Mhm.
much so when you leverage an asset and you don't do the underlying work.
Oh, no question. No
And that's
question.
that's where and so here's an interesting point because you talk about 1031 exchanges.
Mm.
The interesting thing is if you're buying individual stocks, a 1031 exchange is not possible, right? If something goes up in price and you cash out and you buy something else, boom, you're getting hit with capital gains in a
Yep.
taxable account.
Yep.
Guess what though? If you buy an ETF inside the wrapper of an ETF, they can 1031 exchange all day long, baby, and own whatever it is under the sun that they want to own, turn the portfolio over, yada, yada. There is no capital gain being distributed to a client. So I would argue that you can 1031 exchange inside the wrapper of an ETF. And it's the exact same principle where you may have bought XYZ property at $50,000,
Mhm.
1031 exchanged it into another property, and it's at $1,000,000. You don't pay capital gain until you sell it. Same thing inside of an ETF. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
how many changes are going on under the sun.
the only wrinkle there is I can't do that. The
You
ETF
can't
m
you can't
manager.
determine what's held there,
Right.
but you can buy a portfolio that
Yeah.
aligns with what it is you're looking for, and all of that can take place inside of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, again, the other thing that I like to say now there are exceptions. A couple of my followers, and they know who they are very good at both. My opinion is most people don't have the aptitude to be good at both. I think to be a good stock market investor, somebody who follows trends, it's a certain skill set and experience. Where if you're a real estate guy, it's a certain set of experience and skill sets different. I don't see a lot of crossover.
Right.
So I do think you have to find your thing. What excites you? What lights your fire? And again, I want to say it again. I don't care which one you pick. Just go for it.
Yeah.
I hate diversification. I
Yep.
want 7 different income streams and blah blah blah. I hear millionaires have no. Go figure
Totally
out
agree.
your thing and get disproportionately focused on it for a decade and become elite. I don't I don't care.
I totally agree with you. And the one thing, and I'm interested to get your take on this because everyone's experience is a little different and the accountants
Mhm.
they use, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone talks about the tax advantages of real estate. And I will
Mhm.
tell you my personal experience here and just want to hear if yours is
Yeah.
meaningfully different than this.
Mhm.
So, the income I generate from the real estate properties that I own,
Mhm.
we write some things against it, including the mortgage interest.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, more than 50% of the income generated from those is hitting my income stream. And
Mm.
so if you're in a high tax bracket, even just at the federal level, you're at 37.
Mhm.
37 and you cut it in half because only half of it's hitting that and you're depreciating half of it away or mortgage interesting half of it away. You're still looking at kind of almost 20%,
Yeah.
right? And so maybe my accountant isn't doing quite as good of a job as yours is, but are you experiencing that? Is that kind of
No.
a ballpark fair
So
number?
It's certainly I mean, your experience is your experience, so of course it's fair. My portfolio was built with acquisitions every year for 15 or 18 years in a row. So
Yep.
I had, what was called carry
Tax
forward
loss carry
loss.
forwards? Yeah.
Yeah, carry forward. So I never had all the income, quote unquote, cash flow that I made from our real estate. There was no tax because I had depreciation and acquisition because we were constantly buying and adding to our portfolio. However, because I was a high W-2 earner,
Hold
I
on,
could
time out. That just perfectly makes your point of being an expert. My dumbass is sitting over here again paying taxes on mine because I'm not effectively managing it like you are, and you're paying zero tax.
zero tax on the income for
Keep
18 or
going. I
20
didn't mean to
years.
cut you off.
The one thing that I do want people to hear is because real estate is at least the stuff that I buy is called passive.
Right.
So I can't write my losses off against my W-2
Right.
as I was employed because I made more than whatever the limit was. That said, 5 years ago, I kicked that W-2 to the curb, and now all I do is real estate. So now I'm a real estate professional, and I can take the losses if I have them. I haven't bought as much, so it's not, now I'm paying taxes, but if I wanted to, I could write that off against other income sources. So, no, I think of the 15 years, we probably paid 0 taxes 13, at least 13 of the 15 years, because we
Yep,
just kept
and
buying and
then
buying and
is
buying.
the thought from a financial planning perspective for you is, okay, let's use these, generate cash flow off of them, live our life off of them, and let's die with these and have them
Uh,
stepped up and passed down? Not to be
so
morbid.
no, no, that's a great question. So that was our plan until we were retired and we started having adult conversations with our daughter. I think it's pretty clear now. Over the next 15 to 20 years, we will cut our portfolio in half.
Okay.
Um, because she really has no interest, so she will get the highest quality, probably the free and clear properties. And then we'll sell off some and consolidate down. Maybe we'll 1031 into, high end class A stuff. We're not sure. But the intention will be to have a much, much smaller portfolio in a decade or two for sure.
And this just shows my naivety on real estate. I'm familiar with 1031. Is it 60 days once you sell to roll into a new property?
I
That's
believe there are two dates. So there's 90 days for identification. Again, check online to make sure.
yep.
And then it's 6 months to close.
Okay. And then what is, it has to be a quote unquote like asset. Is
Like
that
kind,
fair?
they call it
Like
like
kind.
kind.
And what is that again?
Rental for rental. So I could sell a
Okay.
rental house and 1031 into an apartment. You
Okay.
can't sell your primary and 1031 into an apartment.
Right. Right. But you could buy commercial, residential, doesn't matter. It's
Pretty
gonna move.
loose. It's pretty
Yep.
loose. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
It
it's
is
really
an amazing, vehicle to, you know, transpire without ever having to capture
yeah.
that loss, at least in the interim.
Yeah. I mean, there are some people, Ben Mala, for example, who's really big on YouTube, who's going to 1031 is until he day dies, and then all his kids will get what's called the stepped up basis. Right. There are people that do that. Just keep
So
rolling
long
it
as he
forward.
doesn't have a net worth over
Some
XYZ.
number.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's
There's
it's
a
like
limit.
12.6 right now. And then if you're married, it's double that. But
25. Yeah.
it is set for the record. It is set to expire if Congress doesn't extend it at the end of this year. So I
Really? End of
know
24. I didn't know that.
yeah, don't quote me on the date, but I'm pretty sure it's end of
Look it up.
24.
Yeah.
So some people are telling people to take some gains this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I will,
gift some stuff this year rather.
yeah, I think I really do think our plan, Olivia and I, is we're going to take half the portfolio and live our pretty good life, and the other half we'll give to our daughter, which will, hopefully set her up for the rest of her. So, yeah,
Heck yeah,
pretty
man.
good.
How old's
Yeah,
your daughter again?
she's 31.
Right on. That's awesome. Well, cool. This is a fun conversation. And so like in the vid, I will say one more thing about the video. The video just shows like these eye-popping numbers at the beginning. And I realized that it's not apples to apples, but it shows that the median house in the US in 1973, which is 50 years ago, was $33,500. So 33.5. Today it's something like 412 or something like that. And then I go, if you had invested that 33.5 in the stock market, it's worth 5.1 today.
Mm.
And so there are, markedly different numbers, but I also understand that like you're not, to your point, you put zero money down.
Yeah,
You can leverage the heck out of it if you're good at it.
yeah. At the end of the day, folks, really what this comes down to is please find your thing. Please find your thing and get good at it. I really hate dabblers. I was a dabbler, so I can say that with experience. You don't get good at anything, and you get got by the sharks, and it's pretty painful. So, Taylor, where can somebody find you if their thing is stocks?
Yep. Stock, bonds, and some other stuff too. Complete investment portfolios. But no, you're 100% correct there. Find us at Life Goal Investments. We're on both Instagram and TikTok daily, kind of 60, 90-second videos.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you.
You're the man, Michael. Thank you.